We welcome you to Ogtv News. I am Mojisola Shulaja. At top stories. President Buhari stresses need for Nigeria to work with international community in ensuring global peace. Ogun education sector heads map out strategies for development. Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority, to invest fresh 50 billion naira in commodity exchange. WHO team to start Wuhan COVID investigation in markets, laboratory. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
Tonight on the sports segment of the news, Cristiano Ronaldo under investigation for breaching COVID-19 protocols. These and many more when I return. My name is Hakeem Akitunde. You're welcome.
We begin with politics. The governor of Ogun State and the leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has received the former members of Allied People's Movement, APM, in the Ogun State House of Assembly into the ruling party. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports.
7 of them were members of the Allied People's Movement, APM, in the Ogun State House of Assembly. They are now back into the All Progressives Congress, APC. The Speaker of the House made it a point of duty to hand them over to the leader of the ruling party in Ogun State and the governor of the state, Prince Dapo Abiodun. The governor welcomed them to the party.
On our part, in line with our disposition, our vision, in line with our building our future together mantra, in line with our vision of good governance, we are committed to being inclusive. We are committed to being participatory. We are committed to being fair, to being just, to being equitable. Even when you are in APM, you are not discriminated against. We were fair to you. We were equitable to you. We were just to you. We ensured that as far as you are concerned, I remain the governor to all of you. Either you are APM, ADC, PDP. We never at any point in time discriminated against you. In that same spirit of inclusiveness, we are accepting you back into his party.
He said his administration will be inclusive and will not discriminate against anyone who wants to join the party.
The slight twist to this is that most of the members of the APM were actually original members of the APC. So like I said, the function of those that left home coming back home. I must say that, like one of you had mentioned, it is our hope that you chose to join us in appreciation of the fact that this is where you should have been all along.
The Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, and the former APM lawmakers attributed their return to All Progressives Congress, APC, to the laudable achievements of the governor of the state in just 18 months in office.
Working together to achieve the goal of the government of President Dapo Abiodun. More cooperation, advancements in the policy of government, the necessary support that to make the state to go forward during this administration. That's what everybody will be expecting.
Well, we've been with the Excellency before now, and we thank God that he always ensured that he practiced inclusiveness. And he has also practiced it today by ensuring that those of us from APM that we willingly said that we are moving to APC, he took time to ensure that he accepted us, and we are all one. And the kind of support we've been giving to him, even while we were in the minority party. We double that now that we are in the same family.
Political parties are vehicles for development. Therefore, we have seen the fact that we cannot continue without adding our own value to the development of the state. And the only way we can be doing that is by supporting the mainstream. And the only party in the mainstream is All Progressive Congress.
This brings the number of APC members in the Ogun State House of Assembly to 22. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
Concerned by the rising spate of insecurity occasioned by cases of kidnapping, herdsmen, farmers' clashes, banditry, and cultism, the Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a resolution calling on the state government to step up plans towards the immediate commencement of operations and takeoff of Amotekun security network. The passage of the resolution followed a motion moved by the majority leader, Honorable Yusuf Sharif, seconded by a member representing Remo North State Constituency, Honorable Solomon Osho, and unanimously supported by other lawmakers through a voice vote at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Olomo, at the Assembly Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
On the operation and takeoff of the Amotekun security network to strengthen the security network in the state was sequel to the submission of some members, including Honorable Shola Adams, Adegoke Adeyanju, Oludaisi Elemide, Kemi Oduwole, and Solomon Osho, who spoke under personal explanation on the activities of some herdsmen who often engaged in kidnapping and destruction of farmlands under the guise of open grazing for their herds of cattle, as well as incidents of highway robbery and rivalry court clashes, which had resulted in avoidable loss of lives and negative effects on the economic activities of the affected areas. Other lawmakers, including Honorable Sylvester Abiodun, Honorable Ganiyu Oyedeji, Honorable Haruna Wahab, and Honorable Atinuke Bello, also joined in kicking against open grazing following the tension created in some neighboring states as a result of clashes between residents and herdsmen. They called for improved surveillance by various security formations in their respective constituencies to nip the situation in the bud so as to avoid inter-ethnic clashes in the states. The lawmakers also called on the state governor to achieve a seamless and immediate takeoff of the State Security Network Agency and Amotekun Core Law passed by the Assembly in March 2020 and subsequently assented to by Governor Dapo Abiodun, who later appointed a commandant for the corps recently. In his response, Speaker Olakunle Oluomo lauded the intervention of the State Command of the Nigeria Police Force at checkmating crime and criminality, with a renewed charge on residents to always provide timely and credible information to the security agencies towards aiding their operations and make the states unsafe for criminals.
I still want to appreciate the effort of the present Commissioner of Police in tackling this issue, this police. I want him, as I said that time, to please step up the game. And I'm calling on our people too, to please cooperate with the security agencies in achieving this goal of peace. We call on the executive to matter of urgency and fast track the establishment of the Amotekun bill, which we have signed into law, which the governor has assented to, and have even appointed the commandant.
Honorable Oluomo noted that the State Assembly will soon convey a stakeholders forum to harness the inputs of concerned stakeholders towards ensuring passage of the Animal Grazing and Cattle Ranch Establishment Law 2020.
And back to the APM members that defected to the ruling party. 7 members of the Ogun State House of Assembly have resigned their membership of the Allied People's Movement, APM, and defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The lawmakers announced their defection in separate letters read by the Speaker of the Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Olomo, during a plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
All the 7 lawmakers elected on the platform of Allied People's Movement (APM) in Ogun State have decamped to the All Progressives Congress (APC) during the plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Okemosan, Abeokuta. The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, while reading their letters of defection, stated that the lawmakers in their correspondences noted that they took the decision after due consultation with their leaders and constituents. Oluomo, who said he was happy that things are getting better in the state under the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration, as all the 7 members elected under the APM had decided to move to the mainstream, urged other opposition members to emulate them. The lawmakers who defected are Honorable Modupe Mujota, representing Abeokuta North State constituency, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi from Ado-Ota 2, and Honorable Amosun Yusuf from Ewekuru State constituency. Others are Honorable Bolanle Ajayi from Egbado South and immediate past minority leader Honorable Ganiyu Oyedeji from Ifo-2 State constituency. Likewise, their Ipokia Idiroko and Shagamu 2 counterparts Honorable Sikiratu Ajibola and Ademola Adeniran.
Sort of appreciation to God Almighty and happiness that is becoming better for my party in the state. I want to say it here categorically, without missing word, that all 7 members of the APM in this Shiba are today moving to APC.
With the defection, the 26 membership house now consists of 22 APC lawmakers, 3 African Democratic Congress (ADC), and a member from the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Speaking shortly after announcing their defection, the lawmakers, including Honorable Ganiyu Oyedeji, Honorable Bolanle Ajayi, and Honorable Modupe Mujota, thanked their leaders and constituents for the opportunity to serve, assuring that they will continue to give quality representations for the benefits of their constituents.
There's a meeting of minds, there's a congruence of thought in how to advance the cause of the state, and that's what is in the best interest of the state and the good people of the state.
With the situation presently, so I think it is the right time to come back home, to come back to my party, which is APC.
You know, the APC party is my party. For some reasons, I just have to go to APM to get what I want. After, I have to back to my home. APC party is my home.
Overall benefits of the people of the state, which they acknowledge was being attended to by the state government.
Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has held a synergy and strategic meeting with board chairman and management of the Teaching Service Commission and the State Universal Basic Education Board to map out strategies for development. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, during the quarterly meeting with agencies held at the conference room of the ministry, revealed that the meeting was timely and crucial to educational development, pointing out that it will help to map out strategies for development in each of the agencies and also assess the extent at which goals and standards have been achieved. Arigbabu revealed that stakeholders of the education sector should see themselves as instruments for positive change and catalyst for socio-economic emancipation and empowerment at all levels. They should be proactive, resourceful, committed, and enterprising in the manner in which they discharge their duties.
The line is developed that nobody can fly with one wing. Interagency collaboration is where the main professional development of our state. In view of the cooperation in the sector to cover economic areas among others.
He called for better cooperation and synergy amongst the agencies that will foster great achievements for the benefit of all. While giving the progress report, the board chairman of SUBEB and TESCAM, Dr. Femi Majakodumi, and evangelist Joshua Olalekon Ifede highlighted some of their efforts, such as redistribution of teachers, training of staff, and placement of principals in schools. The special advisor to the governor on technical education, Professor Joseph Odemuyiwa, in his submission, said that technical and vocational education should be given priority as others. He disclosed that industries will be partnering with the agency to train artisans. In her remarks, the special advisor to the governor on primary and secondary education, Mrs. Ronke Shoyombo, said there was need to improve standard at all levels. There should be intense monitoring of schools to ascertain their level of compliance to COVID-19 protocols and prioritize teachers' welfare. In a bid to partner with relevant training institutes for capacity building of artisans in the state, Ogun State Technical and Vocational Education Board, led by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Technical Education, Professor Joseph Odemuyiwa, has visited Wesley Institute. The visit is not only aimed at improving the youth in terms of vocational training, but also to create jobs. Atebola Oshomoji reports.
On Monday, October 26, 2020, Governor Dapo Abiodun announced his administration's commitment to job creation in order to reduce unemployment in the state. According to him, 250 youth from each local government would be given employment with immediate effect. To actualize this, the Ogun State Technical and Vocational Education Board in the state visited Wesley Institute to inspect the facilities in preparation for the training. Special Advisor to the Governor on Technical Education, Professor Joseph Odemuyiwa, said job creation is the heartbeat of the current administration.
With the vision of His Excellency on training 5,000 unskilled artisans within the state in this new year, you have to look at those centers that can be accredited, that can be certified, that we can send people to, so that at the end of that period, they'll be able to live on their own, they'll be self-sufficient, they'll be able to contribute economically to Ogun State.
The managing director of the institute said the institute is committed to the advancement of youth empowerment and job creation agenda of the current administration in the state.
We now have a government now that said, okay, he wants to partner with us. He wants to see how we can, take all our youth off the street. I think it's a welcome development.
Professor Odemuyiwa said the OGS program will provide skills and capacity building as well as stipends, whilst the participants are attached to small and medium-scale enterprises and government agencies. The team also inspected the ongoing project of technical workshop embarked upon by the state government to aid the learning of vocational training in Abeokuta Grammar School. Adebola Oshomuji, Ogtv News.
Broadcasters have been advised to uphold the ethics of the profession as it is strategic to nation building and human capital development, while highlighting the impact of information to national development at the 5th anniversary lecture of Sweet FM 107.1. NBC Director General Professor Armstrong Idachaba opined that nations are built by the way information is gathered, managed, and disseminated. Shemilori Makonju has the details.
As part of activities lined up for the 5th anniversary lecture of the first entrepreneurship and leadership radio station, Sweet FM 107.1, broadcasters have been advised to shun unprofessional conduct. In his lecture titled Private Broadcasting, Its Impact on National Development, Professor Armstrong Idachapa advised on balanced reportage of national issues, noting that the role of media in the society is strategic and cannot be ignored.
Broadcasting generally is to promote accepted social values and norms, especially civic and social responsibilities, to promote acquisition of knowledge, disseminate impartial news and opinions in a manner encouraging meaningful and articulate dialogue and discussion of issues of public interest. So are we doing that as private broadcasters? Are we doing that also as public broadcasters? Which include the building of a united, strong, and self-reliant nation. Now, that's something I see that's principally lacking.
A chief host and founder of the station, Senator Gbenga Obadara, affirmed that the establishment of the station was born out of the need to create employment opportunity.
I grew up with from age about 8, 9, 10. We are saying that morning devotion, God make me an instrument of use in the making of another mankind. The reason why I applied for radio license is not to use it to empower my people. I will take a lot of people from roaming about the street, from committing crimes.
Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ogun State, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, charged broadcasters to ensure professionalism in their operations.
The audience is there, the market is there, and the state government is ready to encourage the industry to grow, because it's also in our own interest. We know the sophistication of our people, and they are yearning for proper and adequate information. If you give the people the right information, they'll be able to make informed decisions.
Among other speakers at the event is the former Director General of NBC, Malam Danladi Bako.
The first newspaper I read of him was done in Abeokuta by Reverend Henry Townsend. So there's a history behind Abeokuta. If President Obasanjo had not made me DG, I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to set all the standards that I set and people are benefiting from today.
The panelists stressed the need for professional conduct, well-researched and unbiased news reportage. Shemiluri, Makoju, Ogtv News.
And still to come, 348 stranded Nigerians in United Arab Emirates arrive Abuja. This and more report shortly. You're still watching Ogtv News. The Ogun State Monthly Environmental Sanitation Exercise for the month of January will hold on Saturday, 30th January 2021 from 7 in the morning to 10 in the morning. A statement from the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Environment, Engineer Razak Olabode Ojetola says, due to the daily sustained sanitation by various households in the state, there will be no restriction of movement in all the 20 local government areas of the state for the environmental exercise. The statement, however, enjoins households to use the period of the exercise to further improve on their sanitation, clean their drainage channels, surroundings, and give their waste to the private sector providers in the areas for proper disposal. President Muhammadu Buhari has reiterated Nigeria's commitment to working with the international community towards achieving global peace, food security, and sustainable environment. This was while receiving in audience 3 new ambassadors posted to the country on tour of duty. The 3 new envoys who are in the State House, Nigeria's seat of government, to present their letters of credence to President Buhari are Riyad Mustafa Awood of Egypt, Faisal Ibrahim Ghanidi of Saudi Arabia, and Alujandiri Francisco Herrero of Argentina. Addressing the envoy shortly after, President Buhari congratulated them for officially carrying out their diplomatic functions in Nigeria. He hopes that their respective mandates will be utilized towards improving cordial relations with the country, constitution, and global best practices.
Bilateral relations with your respective countries. We are to pursue bilateral dialogue as well as build cooperation on the basis of constructive mutual respect and a shared vision for the future. Nigeria is a nation of great diversity, and we are ready to always convert these diversities to advantages.
In addition to the United Nations, President Buhari said all the three countries are also members of the G7 and the South-South cooperation, which Nigeria is proud to be associated with. Nigeria and the home countries of the envoys, he said, have common challenges, which include terrorism, insurgency, climate change, population explosion, human trafficking, corruption, poverty, and proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
The second wave of the coronavirus pandemic has come with different strains that pose additional challenges to the initial outbreak. These challenges underscore the need for the international community to work even more in concert to collectively identify appropriate ways and means to globally resolve these challenges.
Ambassador Riyad Mustafa of Egypt, who spoke on behalf of the envoys, assured the president of the commitment to work with his administration to further enhance and strengthen their country's relationship and partnership with Nigeria.
The effort exerted to make us feel welcome, we would count on your kind support and guidance to this end.
The three new ambassadors were earlier on arrival accorded a befitting diplomatic welcome by officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade. The Nigeria Police Force on Thursday distributed 160 million naira to the families of the officers who were killed during last year's nationwide protest against the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police Force, tagged #NSAS. While distributing the checks to 39 beneficiaries at a brief ceremony attended by the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, stated that the gesture was a clear signal that the Nigeria Police would never abandon the family of colleagues who gallantly laid down their lives in the service of the nation. IGP Adamu disclosed that the Force Insurance Unit was able to process and pay the entitlements of the deceased personnel in good time. With regards to those injured during the protest, he said there were group personal accident medical expenses that were being processed and will be paid to the beneficiaries in due course. In his brief remarks, Information Minister commended the Nigeria Police Force High Command for prioritizing the welfare of its personnel. Muhammad, who noted that about 1 trillion naira worth of property was destroyed in Lagos State alone, said 37 officers and about 186 were wounded in the protests nationwide. He said that 164 police vehicles were vandalized, 134 police stations were destroyed, while 264 public and private buildings were vandalized and 31 warehouses looted. The Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Police has again restated its commitment at ensuring safety of lives and property within the state, as there will be no hiding place for criminals. The State Commissioner of Police, Edward Ajogun, confirmed this while parading some suspects at Ijagun area of Ijebu-Ode. Elizabeth Eson reports.
On the 18th day of January 2021, one Imole Ayo Ashadi of Ajebo Quarters, Oru Ijebu, led the joint team of police, OPC and vigilante group to the hideout of some fraudsters who had succeeded in duping her of over 1 million naira at Ijagun area of Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State.
The last time I went there, they said they wanted to show me something. They showed me the dollar of a thing like that. I was now asking them that this was not what I wanted. You only told me you give me one small something, then to see a better customer, so I'll be able to sponsor myself well. They just told me to keep short, that I don't understand what they are doing, and I have to keep short then. So they now said, can I do the last sacrifice or what they did? I said, I don't understand. Then I said, okay, they should just tell me. They requested for 4 million naira from me. And they said, I must look for it, that it's very, very compulsory. That's when I got home. They gave me soap though that day, but I decided not to use that soap. I'm tired of using any soap to bathe. That's when I came to my senses that what they are doing for me, there is not by my power. But what they are doing for me is kind of scam or something like that. So I went to report.
Parading the suspects at the scene of the crime, the State Commissioner of Police, Edward Ajogun, confirmed that with the support of Governor Dapo Abiodun, the police is committed to ensuring that the state is rid of every form of crime and criminality.
I advised and warned that whoever thinks that Ogun State will be conducive enough for him to commit crime, then he's just making a mistake that will all be them. So that's number one. Again, to retrace that warning that whether you are a foreigner, armed robber, kidnappers, or whatever, that you and your hideout or your den will eventually be fished out and your business stopped, your criminal enterprises stopped.
In attendance was the special advisor to the governor on security, retired AIG Olushola Subal, who affirmed the state government's commitment to harnessing every resource towards making the state safe for all.
I want to assure you that the law will definitely take its course. We will continue to rely on our security agencies to help us fish out all these hoodlums, all these criminals, to help us identify all these structures that you have mentioned. And once they are identified, then we will take the proper step of action.
Journalists were taken round inside and around the fraudsters' hideout, as well as display of exhibits recovered from them. The 4 suspects were Salau Taiwo, Ifakunle Adeyemi, Tajudeen Jimo, and Adebayo Akim. Elizabeth Eson, Ogtv News.
The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions has summoned the Managing Director of the Nigeria Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, over non-payment of about 1.1 billion naira gratuity of 130 retired workers of the agency. Also expected to appear before the Senate panel alongside Bala Usman are the Chairman, Secretary and other members of the NPA board, as well as its management staff. The Chairman of the Senate panel, who issued the directive on Thursday, Senator Ayo Akinyelure, said the committee observed that by that action, NPA has tampered with the implementation of the 2018 budget of the agency. The Senate panel acted on a petition brought to it by one Isa Usman Kunene and 3 retired workers on behalf of 126 other ex-officers of the NPA over the non-payment of a significant portion of the gratuity by the NPA after their retirement in 2018. Kunene and 3 others appeared before the committee and made a presentation on 17th December 2020, but NPA management did not show up. Akinyelure flagged the action of the NPA management and warned that his committee would no longer sit back and allow any government agency alter the implementation of the budget duly passed by the National Assembly. Nigeria has dropped to 149 on Transparency International's 2020 Corruption Perception Index, the worst ranking received by Africa's largest country in recent times. Nigeria also scored 25 out of a possible 100 points. In the last Transparency International rating in 2019, Nigeria was ranked 146 out of the 180 countries surveyed, scoring 26 points out of a possible 100. On a scale of 0 to 100 in Transparency International's rating, 0 means highly corrupt, while 100 stands for very clean. According to the latest ranking, Nigeria is now the 2nd most corrupt country in West Africa, with Guinea-Bissau the only country more corrupt than Nigeria in the sub-region. The last corrupt countries in the world are Denmark, New Zealand, Finland, Singapore, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, the Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Thursday rearranged the immediate past Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Muhammad Adoke, before a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting at Gwagwalada on an amended 42 counts corruption charge. Adoke, who is facing trial over the alleged role he played in the fraudulent transfer of ownership of an oil block, OPL 245, regarded as one of the biggest in Africa, took fresh plea alongside two others, Aliyu Abubakar and Raski Binige, and 4 companies, Malabu Oil and Gas Limited, Nigeria Ajib Exploration Limited, Shell Nigeria Ultra Deep Limited, and Shell Nigeria Exploration Production Company Limited. The defendants, who were initially dogged before the court on January 23, 2020, pleaded not guilty to the amended charge that was read to them before trial, Justice Abubakar Kutige. Meanwhile, Justice Kutige adjourned the case to April 14 for commencement of the hearing, even as he allowed defendants to go home on terms of the bill the court earlier granted to them. EFCC had in the charge alleged Adoke, who served as Attorney General of the Federation under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, and the other defendants were involved in fraud and bribery in the Malabu oil block deal to the tune of about $1.1 billion. 324 Nigerians have been evacuated from Saudi Arabia. The returnees, comprising 300 males, 83 females, and 1 child, arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on Thursday. The returnees were quarantined at the Federal Capital Territory Hajj camp for 14 days in line with the COVID-19 protocols by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. It will be recalled that Nigerians in Saudi Arabia have been stranded as a result of visa expiration and restriction of travel as a result of coronavirus. The 2020 Batch ACOM members posted to Borno State have been exempted from orientation camp. The National Youth Service Corps announced this in a tweet without giving a reason for the decision. NYSC media officer Mr. Femi Adetunji said those that could not finish the campaign before the coronavirus broke out are now returning in batches. But Director, Press and Public Relations of NYSC, Mrs. Adenike Adeyemi, out in a statement, said the 2020 Batch ACOM members will complete the orientation course after the coronavirus lockdown. The Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria has demanded an upward review of the retirement age of health workers from 60 to 65. The union stated that the approval of the new retirement age of 65 for teachers by the federal government should also be extended to the health personnel in the country. The union, Josiah, who was represented by the union's deputy president, Kabir Minjibir, also re-echoed his call for the implementation of the upward review of the consolidated health salary structure for health workers as done for medical doctors. Josiah also called for the payment of the COVID-19 special inducement and hazard allowance as well as their arrears. He admonished the health workers to be careful when handling patients, citing the rise in coronavirus infections in the country. The Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria president said, for the same reasons that informed government's timely approval of a new retirement age for teachers, an extension of such gesture to health professionals shall ensure the harnessing of their experience. The chairman, Federal Capital Territory Council of Medical Health Workers Union of Nigeria, Shanabu Abubakar, pleaded with the government to pay the allowances due to health workers to motivate them. And on business news, Ogun State government signs MOU with France on dairy production. This and other business stories in a short while. This is the business segment of the news. The government of Ogun State has signed a memorandum of understanding with France and Farm Milk PLC for the development of dairy business in the state. The governor of the state, Prince Dapo Abiodun, stressed that the state remains open to genuine private sector concerns and everyone else to actualize the Building Our Future Together agenda. Governor's office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports.
The government of Ogun State has as its vision creation of an enabling environment for public-private sector partnership. Though France and Nigeria seek to develop their political relations, the current administration in Ogun State is going beyond that to ensure that economic and social relationships with France are also strengthened. The evidence of which is the Memorandum of Understanding between the state, France and Farm Milk PLC for the development of the dairy business value chain in Ogun State. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Abiodun, stressed that agriculture is a key pillar in the agenda of the current administration, owing to its demographic, climatic, and human resource advantages.
Because we see this as an opportunity not just to further increase our contribution to food security, but particularly for us to allow us to reduce the level of employment. We realize that agriculture remains the easiest way for us to reduce unemployment. It's the easiest, it's the cheapest.
He noted that the current administration will continue to support the private sector to improve on its food security as well as reduce unemployment in the state.
So this is how we want you to see this our partnership. We have to go beyond what Farm Milk gets out of this. How much capacity building, are we going to see through this? How many jobs are we going to see through this? Because we all know that as we reduce unemployment, you see a consequent reduction in the rate of crime. There is that direct relationship. You can't reduce crime just by buying vehicles, guns, increasing police. As you keep these young minds busy, you begin to see a consequent decrease in the rate of crime.
The French ambassador to Nigeria, Jerome Pasquire, and the chairman of Farm Milk, Olayinka Akikube, said it is a worthy investment coming into the state, which will lead to capacity building in dairy production.
And I want to stress that they had a very good cooperation with Ogun State, and so I hope this new investment will be very successful. The idea is to develop local products and to make them able to make their yogurt with as much as possible locally produced milk.
The fact that it's not only direct employment, we're going to be training people, we're going to be passing on technical knowledge which in Nigeria we didn't have before, so it's a new thing for us to be able to farm specifically dairy farming in the way that Danone has gained its experience and knowledge.
They commended the government of Ogun State for being investor-friendly, promising to turn the Odeda Farm Institute into a world-class training center in dairy production. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority are to invest a fresh 50 billion naira in the Nigerian Commodity Exchange. The governor of CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this at the inaugural meeting of the steering committee set up to reposition the exchange. Emefiele said that the investment will be made through the Infrastructure Corporation in a push to make the exchange functional and halt the arbitrage of middlemen under whom Nigerian farmers have suffered for decades. He also announced the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to halt the ongoing privatization of the commodity exchange, as the process was found to have become an obstacle to the repositioning of the organization. Following the Monetary Policy Committee NPC decision to retain the current rates, the Nigerian equities market extended its bullish run as market indicators hinged 0.83% higher. Basically, the Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index gained 0.83% to close at 41,930.73 basis points, taking the year-to-date at 4.12%, with market capitalization standing at 21.934 trillion naira. Market breadth also closed in favor of the bulls, with 35 gainers as against 21 losers. We have come to the end of the business segment of the news. Up next is foreign news. On the world today, the World Health Organization team in Wuhan, China, are set to begin their investigation into how the coronavirus started.